Okay, we've just paid our entrance fee now into the park, and we're walking straight ahead. Um, as I turn up the volume on the video, um, we'll be able to see the and hear actually the um, the waterfall. So we're just going to walk to the tree over here. By the way, the red plants and the white plants on our right are oleander. Don't chew on the leaves, they're poisonous. And right in front of us is an oak tree, and there's actually a lot of flora and fauna here. The oak tree here, you can see it's the Tabor oak. A common oak is to the right here, to the left of us. And the common oak has a whole bunch of trunks, whereas the Tabor oak only has one trunk. Very, very beautiful trees. Not very big trees here. So we're going to keep on walking till we get to the sign we see coming up here. It says to the suspended trail. Now it's not suspended, but the bridge is hanging in the air. So don't get confused here, guys. We're gonna go this way. Let's go. So I'm speeding up the hike here. It's about a 5-7 minute walk down. And oh yeah. And as we walk down, first of all, it's really, really a beautiful day today. I took my girlfriend of now 38 years down, and as we walk down, it's very hot. Usually, probably when you're going to come here, it's very hot. So kind of watch where you're going. Okay, we've walked downhill, and you can hear the sound of water. And that's a lot of water. So you follow, we're going to what's called the suspended trail. And even on a warm day, all of a sudden it gets cool. And let's go down the trail and okay, now we're just going to take a quick walk. There we are. Okay, now what you have here is we're going to deviate from going straight. We're going to take a little right turn here. We're going to follow the blue path and go across this very, very, very beautiful bridge. And we're just going to look across and look at the water. And then we're going to turn around and go back the way we came. And another quick walk. Quick. And okay, so now we're coming to another place I like to stop. And you can see the water rushing here. Now we're still in spring. We're just entering the third month of spring here. And there's a guardrail here because Israelis would go down and like to get close to the water. And a while ago, a small child got too close to the water, and you can imagine what happened. That was the end of horrible story. That was the end of him. Okay, so we continue walking, and we're getting to the waterfall. Okay, so here we are. I'm doing a voiceover in the studio because I just couldn't record with all the noise in the back. But it is, when you get here, now it's unusual to see it empty. This is the high point of, in my opinion, the whole tour. There's water here. Be careful, that it's slippery. Yeah, be careful, it's slippery. 365 days a year. And in this little corner is everybody wants to do their selfies. So you're gonna, it's what you want to do. You want to do your selfie here. Or if you have a private guide, he'll take your, or she will take your picture. But this is where you want to be. This is the spot. And remember, we're only seeing 25% of the Jordan River. This is again the Hermon or Banias spring. Later in the tour, we're going to go where the water comes out of the mountain. This is all spring water. And it is a really, really, really pretty sight. Okay, so we're going to walk back a different way. We turn around and we go a little bit to our right up steps. And this is the way back to the parking. Okay, so we're getting near the end of the walk today. And of course at the end we have a pretty steep staircase. So you have a place to sit down and take 5 before you go up. But we're going to scamper up here, holding onto the rail. And we always have to be reminded of today's Memorial Day in America, and of course in Israel we don't have picnics and put recipes for cocktails like I saw online. Memorial Day here is a very, very serious day for all Israelis. And at the end of the trail there's a Jeep here which was driven by a Jewish boy by the name of Lieutenant Rami Bitman, who hit a landmine over in this area here and was killed. So always we're very conscious on the price of what our own country costs here. So let's walk back. Now we're at a different part of the park. Okay, when you come to Banias, and what the name means I'll explain in a moment, your bus will, let's say we're in a virtual tour, so our bus, hi. So the bus will park here and you walk straight to the restroom. That's going to be the first thing you're going to do. So half your time if you're on these 50 people buses, a good half the time is bathrooms, getting off on the bus and then getting back on. But on a private tour, this takes just a minute or two and we get a going. Okay, so this park has really 2 names. It's Caesarea Philippi. You hear the name Philip in there. Philip is one of Herod the Great's sons, and he's the king of an area called Golantis, the Golan Heights. We're in the Golan Heights now, by the way. This national park is in the Golan Heights. But it's also got a name, Banias. And Banias is the name of a Greek god, and that is Pan. Now, how does Pan get to Banias? Well, the place where Pan is worshipped, Banias, gets corrupted by the Arabic. In Arabic, it's hard for Arabic to pronounce B at the beginning of words. So Banias becomes Banias. So what we have here is a very interesting site, because not only does it include Jewish history, we're talking about the Herodian kings, but it also includes Christian history. And of course, here we're talking about Matthew 16. Jesus comes to the area of Caesarea Philippi. We would be inside the city back then, and we would be going specifically to a cultic pagan center. Now, when you get here, you have these areas, and if you're lucky enough, I grab one for the pastor if I'm with a Christian group, and the pastors like to talk here. It's a very, very important spot, Matthew 16. So we're gonna just go up here, and then we see lots and lots of water. And what this is this is one of the 3 tributaries of the Jordan River. And this is, of course, the Hermon or Banias. So all this water, and there's a lot of it there, this is coming out of a spring. It's coming out of the rocks right in front of us, right there. Okay, so let's, and what you see here are fig trees, and I wish I could film, video the beautiful smell. It smells like cinnamon. And you see here the Parks Authority people trimming the fig trees. So lots of water. Those of you who have been here before, this is usually empty. You see the unripe figs on the bottom of. And by the way, the word fig comes from Hebrew. An unripe fig is called a pag. So again, P and F, change it around, you get fig. So here we are walking, and right here you can see the sign, the Hermon River Springs, and it's coming out right here. This is where the spring comes out. Alan. And what a pity they're cutting down before the figs are ripe, because there's nothing better than a ripe fig. Okay, so we see here the Temple of Pan, and we're walking up to an area which was very, very important 1900, 1800, 2000 years ago, because this was a cultic center. Now it's interesting that Herod, Philip, Herod's son, was sort of against the short end of the stick when Herod's inheritance split up between the brothers. But we see here now the ruins of a temple dated to Herod the Great, built in honor of Emperor Augustus. So this was built probably around 10 BC, and that's what it looked like down there. So you can see what the temple looked like, and we see a big cavern, and this is called the Grotto of Pan. And what happened here, what this was there was a big temple in front of this. The back of the temple had an area where apparently goats were sacrificed to the god Pan. Okay, of course the god Pan was, if you look at what a picture of Pan, so why don't you stop the video now, go to Google and look at a picture of Pan, and he looks like, well, he's got horns, he's ugly, bearded face, half of his body is that of a goat, he's got cloven hoof. Guy's Satan, the devil. So the modern depiction of the devil is actually just a picture of the god Pan, because paganism was, of course, the enemy of early Christianity. And in an area which was a cultic center, where Jesus brings the disciples here and tells them that the gates of hell shall not prevail, perhaps he is talking about their success in eventually converting the Roman Empire to Christianity. So as we walk up the platform here, we see we see first of all these niches carved into the mountain, and the niches of course had little idols, had statues to the gods given by people who wanted to make votive offerings. And it's very important to come up here and take a look. This place was pretty fancy back then, and we can see where we're standing now. We're standing right here, and you can see that sacrifices were offered here, and it's a pretty impressive place. So you have here a temple to Zeus. We have here also a small temple to the goddess of revenge, Nemesis. And then we have this curious area here, and we see goats dancing, okay, kind of, you know, this area here where there were just this huge cultic center built by, remember, we're in the Roman Empire, and we're in an area, the Romans called it the Syrian Decapolis. So Caesarea Philippi, I believe, one of the cities of the Decapolis. We see here the remains of the Temple of Zeus here. And then you see this is built by Trajan. Yeah. Trajan building a temple here around 100 AD. And as we walk on, we see here this sort of checkerboard floor, and there was a small, you see there's a apse carved into the mountain where the goddess Vengeance, Nemesis, the goddess of vengeance, I guess her motto was don't get angry, get even. And then the next structure is really interesting because this was excavated by Israeli archaeologists not that long ago, about 30 years ago. They found that it was a tomb, and inside the tomb were goats. Yes, you heard me right, goats. So there were goats in here. Why would you want to mummify goats? They make pretty good stew. Well, these goats obviously were sacred to Pan, and they were very special goats. And the clue of what they're doing here is if we look at this coin right there, and we see a dancing goat. So this was the coin of the city. If you were a polis, a city, you could mint your own coins. And of course this place was famous because right over here is an area, a little theater, and guys, that's right, they had dancing goats here. Now, I don't know about you, but I paid good money to see a dancing goat. So apparently the people here did too. And the idea of having goats dance was sort of to attract the crowds out of the churches and synagogues. Remember, Christianity and Judaism 1900 years ago were proselytizing religions. Judaism today is not proselytizing religion, but it was back then. And the people were leaving the pagan temples and going to the churches and synagogues. So this was a effort on the part of the pagan priests to get them, bring them back to the fold. I don't know how well it worked, but apparently not too well. So what we're going to do is just walk down, and this part of the visit, this is what most tours usually do. So thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoyed the tour. We're going to end it here, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks with my next video, probably on Nazareth. Take care and bye-bye.